All right, everyone. You remember the MTV thing? It had like what was it? New Year's resolutions for white people a couple years ago, and you know, I talked about that and had a good laugh at their expense. And then I said, you know, pretty soon I would surpass them in subscribers, and I think I've left them in the dust now. Not that that's saying much, but it was funny at the time. And then MTV News now is making things like they're talking about like the tech world, saying, well, there's a problem with hateful content online, like disturbing content. Tech firms need to do more. Why is it that some of these tech firms refuse to censor people, to install family-friendly algorithms, you know, is basically their excuse for it. It's very funny. It's surreal to me, because think about the site that's actually pushing this, MTV News. So an offshoot of MTV is going to tell people that there's a problem with electronic content. An offshoot of MTV is going to talk about hateful materials. Do you not remember what MTV was like even like fucking 20 years ago? It was nonstop. Every show on there was some degree of sexist, homophobic, racist jokes, disturbing content, violent content, everything under the sun. And continued that way for like 20 years. And it was good television at the time because that's what's funny. That's what's humorous. Yes, being offensive is required if you're going to be funny. Dude, a stand-up comic that just tells you what you want to hear, that's not funny at all. How many jokes can you tell about Orange Man Bad? How many fucking permutations of jokes about the same 3 politically correct topics can you actually fucking make? No, offensive stuff is funny specifically because it transgresses. It makes people a little uncomfortable, and so it makes them laugh. That's the whole fucking goddamn point. But MTV forgot about that, sold out, and decided to become a mainline corporation, which is why nobody cares about MTV News. That's why your fucking YouTube page does so poorly. Some fucker with a webcam can do better. It's more entertaining. It's more informative. I think there were a bunch of like interviews with these like nobody fucking singers on the MTV News YouTube page, like, you know, back when I was looking through it. Because I was looking at their New Year's resolutions bullshit, and they took it down and then they put it back up, and it's like, what are you doing, dude? It's because people were linking the descriptions of their videos. They were getting hammered in the ratings. They got ratioed anyway. But I looked through some of the stuff, and it's like, you know, some random rapper that nobody ever heard of is talking about his new fucking album, and like, you know, 5 ways in which white males can do better, and like weird shit like that. Number one, it's not really news. So I don't know what you're talking about. Number 2, how big is the audience of MTV News? Like, MTV was like cool back in the 90s. Is it cool now? Not really. It's difficult when your main demographic is young males, because then they don't stay young males forever, and it doesn't necessarily get replaced with more young males. That's the whole problem. People moved on to bigger and better things, including internet content, which is why groups like MTV News want censorship on the internet, so that their boring, bland, stupid content that's not getting as much attention anymore will go back to being a little bit on the edgy side. See, I can remember a time like fucking Jon Stewart or Colbert or some shit like that was edgy. That was a funny time, now wasn't it? Early Obama era, late Bush era. Back when that stuff was kind of edgy, like the college humor sort of material. It's not edgy anymore. It's not funny. These groups keep dumbing themselves down to appease corporate advertisers, and then they go after the independent online content because the independent content isn't beholden to advertisers. Wow! No wonder they want to strip ads from people who just topically use AdSense. No wonder they want to go after their comment sections, because they don't get any comments. Mostly it's comments telling them to go fuck themselves. That's the problem. 90% of it is people hating on their content because their content sucks. So instead, they want the comments removed on everyone's material. No comments, no live chats, or only like really boring ones. No alt tech, that's not allowed. No payment processing for anyone who's too edgy, because they want to strangulate communications. It's all about the money. MTV News wants more of your money. They haven't been able, after years of effort, to make it in the online world. They're an afterthought, a backwater that nobody cares about, and so they argue for more censorship. The tragic irony, though, is being an offshoot of MTV, of all places, and calling for that sort of stuff. It'd be like if a bunch of people from the Howard Stern Show decided to start a social justice warrior podcast dedicated to empowering women or something like that. It would be a tragic irony. It would be funny more because it's a self-satire than because it's actually funny. We're going to have the Social Justice Crusader comedy tour. A bunch of comedians apologizing profusely for jokes they told 10 years ago. No, you're going to find funnier content on YouTube. Like, literally, some person sets up a webcam, says something off the wall, goes viral, and it's funny. oh wait, you can't really do that anymore. Going viral is sort of a thing of the past because everything's so fucking algorithmically manipulated. That's why I love alt tech. It can compensate for all that stuff. People can sort of build a persona, build that online personality in a new form. They had to use like other websites before, and now there are alternatives to that help compensate. Why do you think I'm on Minds posting fucking garden pictures and shit there? I can put that shit on Facebook. Zuckerberg might ban me even if you don't post anything and get a ban on Facebook these days. You just looked at Zuckerberg's picture the wrong way, and your computer saw it too because the webcam was turned on. Trust me, it was. You should, by the way, tape your webcam over. It's a good idea. Zuckerberg does. He puts a sticky note on his. I think Tim Cook does too. So learn from the pros of spying. It's hilarious watching them argue for censorship. And there's always all these stupid excuses like, well, it's for the children or something. Dude, your kids are going to transgress and go around your censorship anyway. They're the worst offenders. Shit, I said way crazier shit when I was younger than I do now. Shit, absolutely. When you get older, you gotta have a job or something, or you gotta be at least kind of presentable and shit. It's a little bit different now, isn't it? But you're like 10 years old, you're on the internet, you're like, ha ha ha, you know, I can pretend to be like some total bigot or something. Man, this is great, I can piss people off. What do you think I was doing when I was like in fucking 4th, 5th grade, and they have the computer lab at the library, and you could like, you know, you had to use your card, and then you could have an hour on the computer, and most of the time you could have more than that, because it wasn't that busy. They put too many computers in. They forgot that there were only like 1,000 people in the metro area of the village that I was in, and they had these 8 kiosks. Well, that's quite a bit for those people, considering there were a lot of upper-class families that really had their own home computers anyway, so they weren't using the library. And so basically it was just some kids after school, and, you know, not even a lot of them. A lot of them are rich kids, so they had their own computers. Or their fucking cell phones at the time that they were just barely starting to get, which is funny. You know, end of the 90s. What do you think I was looking up? I was looking up the encyclopedia of shit, and pornographic material, and racist jokes, and going into chat rooms and pissing on people. What else was I going to do? I wasn't doing homework. I'd already done it at school. Of course I was. It was fucking hilarious. And all of these censorious goofballs, they had a good time too. They say all sorts of weird shit in private when they're just around their friends. They act totally different. They're virtue signaling mainly for money. That is, they don't want someone breathing down their neck calling them bad words. Because they're like, oh no, now I have to apologize for being a sexist or whatever. That's number one. And number two, the money. The advertisers. Shit like that. So literally all it's about. They don't give a fuck. They're just trying to destroy their competitors. Fuck MTV News. That's about all. Peace out.